6:25 on the nose. With the new year come new laws, and several new rules will be in effect in Illinois when you wake up tomorrow morning. They include some much stricter laws involving drivers using cell phones and texting. This morning we welcome attorney Thomas Glasgow with more on what we need to know about the new laws. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ben.
Let's begin with the one that probably affects the most people, and that is texting and driving. What can you do now and what can't you do tomorrow?
Okay. Live it up now. You can only text as long as 12 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, the texting law goes into effect. The texting law basically says it is illegal for you to text and drive. Last year, there were approximately 800,000 people who were texting and driving at the same time. Of those, about 6,000 ended up in fatal accidents. We all know the story of the train driver who ended up, with the Federal Transportation Board, ended up crashing his train, killing 25 people while he was texting.
Yeah.
And, that's just translated into cars and other accidents.
But some groups are exempt, like police, first responders. You'll see them on their phones.
They are exempt. They're exempt. Limo drivers, with regard to transmitting on a screen that's no less than 10 inches. Right. If you are in neutral or you're in park, it's legal to do so. If you have an emergency or 911, you can go ahead and utilize that, but you can't use it while you're driving.
Also, some new speed limits for certain groups of people going into effect.
Correct. Outside the scope of the Chicagoland area, you're going to have truckers that can now go with a uniform speed limit of 65. It was 55 before. Now they've ended up moving it up to 65. Studies have shown that there's not a real big difference in in accidents with regard to the speed limits.
Now some political changes as well, given the news events of the last year, and that is an amendment that allows voters to recall the sitting governor.
That's correct.
It's one thing to put a rule on the books. How difficult would it be to actually recall a governor?
Well, this hasn't come into effect as law yet. It's
Right.
still an amendment, and it has to be approved by the voters. It has been passed by both the House and the Senate. It requires, if the voters want to recall a governor, it can be done no more than 6 months after a governor is elected. It has to be signed by 20 members of the House of Representatives, 10 members of the Senate, and then it has to be split evenly along political party lines. They move it on into the special election 100 days further from that. Once a recall is done, a second one can't be done during the course of a sitting governor's term.
And Pat Quinn was supportive of that. He talked about it as lieutenant governor, and now, who knows when it could be used. Alrighty, Tom Glasgow, thanks for talking to us about new laws for the new year. Tracy's here with a look at the weather.